You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
This is the Daniel Monday Night Community Show on demand through YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to us through this method. If you'd like to keep up to date with when I add new interviews, then subscribe to this channel. So we're now going to be joined on the phone with our regular slot from Ideas Test, Swale and Medway. Firstly, thank you very much for joining us. If you could just introduce yourself to our listeners, that would be great.
Oh, hi there. Yeah, thanks, Daniel, for having me on. I'm Bethan for Ideas Test, and I help to look after the building at number 34 on the High Street. And I also help with some of the work that goes on in the community. So last week, we've had some community craft workshops out at Castle Connections in Queenborough. And that's the sort of thing I do, helping put artists in the community as well.
So I was hoping you could let our listeners know next what's happening over the next month at Ideas Test.
Yeah, we've got loads on. We've still got our fantastic exhibition by Richard Oosterland. Absolutely beautiful. I just completely coincidentally has fallen at the same time that Tunbridge Wells Museum and Art Gallery are doing an exhibition of exactly the same kind of work. And I only say that because it's really unusual. What Richard does, he's based in Medway. He takes wet plate photographs. So it's kind of one of the oldest forms of photography, but he still uses it. So I did talk about this last month, but I think it bears a little bit of repeating because it's been so brilliant to have his pictures up. They're absolutely stunning. So basically, he'll take the picture and he has to develop it there and then on a piece of glass. So people who have their picture taken will see this image appear in front of them, which may be familiar. I mean, I know I sort of was familiar with that as a child. My dad used to do it, and he let me go in the dark room and see the picture appear. But for younger listeners, that probably just feels like it probably feels as Victorian to them as this actual process was. So it's been fantastic, and I really sort of recommend anybody who's in Sittingbourne or come on down to 34. We've got his pictures up to March the 3rd, and actually, we even had one of the models pop in the other day, so that was really nice. She explained exactly what it felt like to see that image and how unique they are. I
was going to say, is it sort of a really high quality? Because often when we see those images, obviously they've been around for, sometimes, years, possibly even 100 years. So obviously they've aged. But to see that process in, a modern context, I was just wondering, do they really look of a high quality?
They are really of a high quality. I mean, he does do portraits for people. You can contact him and ask to have a portrait done. They are stunning. They're sort of almost like a cross between an artwork and a photograph. I mean, of course, lots of photography is art, but it's got that you're really aware of the artistry. This lady who I was talking to, who had her picture taken, she said she just feels like there's something about the process, and obviously about Richard's skill to do it. It just captures something. And obviously, I guess when we're used to seeing these pictures being from 100 and 150 years ago, that style of photography, obviously it does make them feel sort of immortal. The little girl who's in the picture, that's sort of like the sort of poster girl for this particular exhibition. I mean, honestly, you feel like you're looking back through time, that picture could have been taken, 200 years ago, that you just see a sort of humanity that goes beyond how we are now, the sort of way that we present ourselves now. So that's, really beautiful.
I suppose it makes us realise that things weren't perhaps so different. You see those pictures, they're 100 years old and it looks so different, but when you see that technique used in modern context, you suppose realise that things weren't quite so different. It was more the technology they were using, perhaps.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I mean, we were talking the other day about when you see these pictures that are the old photographs and they've been coloured since. I mean, I was going to say hand-coloured, but I'm sure people use computer technology to do that now. And you sort of suddenly, those people in those photographs become alive because colour's added, weirdly. I mean, this is sort of like the opposite process, but has the same effect where you feel like, you get that sense of people are people are people. They always have been. They've always had the same excitements and the same challenges. I mean, I'm talking, from a personal point of view, that's been a real pleasure. I can't think of a better word, really, to sort of get that perspective on people's, that capture of that. And I think because it's a one-off, it's a one moment. If it goes right, it's perfect. And he just always, he's got it right every time. They're absolutely stunning. So yeah, very lucky to have his pictures here to the end of this month, just going into February. So coming up after that, going into the next artist we've got coming in after Rickard is actually a sound artist called Dan Scott. And we have actually worked with him before. He worked on a project with us called We Know What We Like and We Like What We Know.
Ah, yes, I spoke to him before, I think actually about that project.
So with that one, he actually met 3 families who'd had little or not really any experience with contemporary art, and he talked to them, and he then, it was about it, because he is a listening man, that is his artistry. He heard what they said, and he heard what was important to them, and then worked with an artist to make a piece of work exactly for them. Which reminds me, I don't know if any of your listeners heard yesterday, there was somebody on the news about a door-to-door poet. Did you hear that story, Daniel?
No, I didn't actually.
Right, he works in the northeast, and he literally knocks on, that's how he described it, doors, and he's had an Arts Council grant to do this now, because he doesn't take any payment from the people he speaks to, but he talks to them, and he then creates a poem for them, and he goes back. So that was on the news yesterday. So that was a nice little link in. So so Dan Scott is coming back to 34, and he's actually going to have a residency. So he's going to be in the first week, so from Tuesday the 7th, he's going to be in 34, and he's going to be interviewing people whose job centres on listening. So, yeah, it'll be exciting to see who comes in. I guess, probably you should be right up there, I expect.
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah, in that sense, yeah. When I interview, I am listening to people, yeah.
Yeah, although, of course, loads of people listen to people all the time. I mean, successful work probably on the whole, and life, not just work, but successful life, of course, depends on listening to what people say around you, doesn't it? So, so from the interviews, again, he's going to be creating an artwork that will be in various different mediums. I mean, he does work with sound, obviously, so we are expecting that there will be a sound installation, but it does say here, various mediums. So that's exciting. Watch this space. And that's going to be displayed in number 34. So on Saturday, the 11th of March, Dan will be holding a drop-in. So you can come in, and he's not just saying that he's some kind of expert about this, as a professional listener. He's also looking for people's thoughts, their advice about how they listen. And then obviously there's an opportunity for people to actually look and hear the creations that he's made during that week whilst he's in residency as well. So it'd be absolutely fantastic. So I expect all the ideas test staff who sort of take it in turns to work on Saturdays will probably be scrabbling to work on that day, because it just sounds like a great opportunity. And not just to hear how people talk about listening, but also for us as an organisation, trying to hear what people want and what they respond to. That'll be really, really brilliant. So I shall get my name down for that. And then we are actually sort of trying to get a sound and listening feel to the month of March. So we've got a sort of tie-in event, which is on Saturday, the 25th of March. And we're going to do something that we're calling Radio Noughts. But it's a one-day workshop for 9 to 13-year-olds. And we're looking for them to create some space-themed dramas. and that actually finding out about how that works on radio, so that sound and listening element is the theme is there. So we're really lucky. We've worked before with an award-winning radio drama writer called Anna Henley, and she's coming back. So we're going to offer those 9 to 13-year-olds, and of course anybody who comes with them, opportunity to find out about sound effects and how they work for radio and, TV, of course, as well. And then people can make their own. We'll hopefully get some recordings, and, with people's consent, I guess we'll put some up for people to listen to. So we've run events like that before, and they've been hugely enjoyable. So, yeah, we're looking forward to that at the end of March, the 25th. Of course, all these dates and days, they're all on the website, but just to sort of list them here whilst I'm talking as well. And then we've actually got something in between those two Saturday events, which is it is a bit different, but we do try to keep up with sort of national themes. And we've got there's British Science Week, which some of your listeners may be familiar with.
Yeah.
That runs from the 10th to the 19th of March. And we're on the 18th going to have Mid-Kent Astronomical Society exploring things about space. So that's, that sounds very exciting. I'm sorry, I can't give you any more detail about that yet. The infiniteness of space, but that's what they're going to do. So keep an eye on the website to see actually some more specific detail of what they're going to do. But I believe that there's going to be a telescope. So we'll see how that works out during the daylight. But to have the Astronomical Society, huge privilege that they're going to come along and talk to them and find out about what they do. And obviously it'd be a good opportunity for people perhaps to see what other things are going on with British Science Week, stuff all over the place. There is a website for that, which is www.britishscienceweek.org, and you can see they've got like a browse events thing on their homepage which you can go to. And also, I should say, if people are interested, they can also register an event as well. You can plan activities, you can get involved, and it just means that obviously being tied into something on that national scale, if you're thinking about doing something that's scientific at the moment, then you can obviously benefit from all our social media as well. So when we did the work last year, it was great. We had a performance from theatre company Strange Face, who some of your listeners may have seen around Swale and Medway doing their tabletop puppet show. They actually also did a bit of work with the Wellcome Trust grant about neuroscience. So that just happened to fall in British Science Week, and we did a bit of work around that. And it's just lovely to be involved in national initiatives. So that's on the 18th of March. And then just coming back little bit, we have got a new project of our own, which sort of ties into national initiatives, in that it's about getting young people into work. But very specifically, we've got a creative job club, which is going to be launched on the 4th of March. So we're going to do a taster day, and it's dedicated to 18 to 24-year-olds. So people who may well have heard about how brilliantly the creative industries are doing. There's loads of press about that at the moment. They really are a huge growth area. And we are basically aiming over the course of about 6 months to give them the opportunity. We're aiming to get about 15 participants to come and join us. There will be mentors, speakers, there'll be opportunities to have work experience. We will be helping people to get all those practical things in place, like making sure that people's CVs not only read right, but look right, that they feel confident when they go to those job interviews, that actually for some people, they may very well have the skills to set themselves up as self-employed individuals. And we'll make sure that they have all those bits of information that you get from the experience of doing it. So most of the team that work for Ideas Test have been practicing artists. We've all had all those experiences. I hold very dear somebody who said to me, not that long ago, this is Excel, this is how it works, this is how you do a budget, this is how you do some cash flow, and this is why it matters. So because that was such a radical change to my life, I just am so passionate about that. And, you know, the members of the team, all exactly the same. It's brilliant to have this opportunity with the investment from NatWest Skills and Opportunities Fund to actually to be able to pass that information on. So Taste Today, 4th of March, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. So there will be 4 creative industry speakers giving advice. You can sign up for more information, but really fantastic opportunity there. And finally, I think, coming right back up to sort of close to where we are now, sort of done this as a sort of like hop around our events, haven't I? Hopefully thematically. But coming right back to the end of February, Saturday the 25th, we've got old photographs from Sittingbourne, Swale and Medway. And we've actually got some of the photos from the Francis Firth collection, which some of your listeners may be familiar with. There's an archive of I think it's like 150,000 almost old photographs. There's books that he's books about local places and those heritage pictures. So we've got some of those, and one of our team members has been creating a bit of a downloadable activity sheet so that you can create old photos. Excuse me. There's an absolutely brilliant movement at the moment. I'm sure some people will have seen them. Such brilliant pictures they've been shared of people recreating now pictures that they've had from the past. So we've sort of seen, there's 2 brothers who do it, and they sort of recreate pictures of themselves now as they did as children. So there's just brilliant ones of them sort of sitting in the bath and that sort of thing. And we've sort of named our event on Saturday 25th sort of in honour of them, really. It's then, now, here, and we're encouraging people to do the same, not necessarily get in the bath, but we're encouraging them to find pictures either of themselves and to recreate those, or to find old photos. Maybe there's a shop where you live and maybe it looks the same. Maybe it looks completely different. So if you find something that grabs you, you can go and have a look at it now today and to recreate some old images. So yeah, that's what we're supporting on the 25th with the photos in 34 and on the online activity sheet. So that was a bit of a race through lots and lots of stuff going on. But, of course, all of those details are on our website, which is www.ideastest.co.uk.
Well, as always, I'd like to thank you very much for taking the time out to join us here at the Monday Night Community Show on BRFM and letting our listeners know what's happening over the next month.
Oh, thanks so much, Dan. It's always lovely to speak to you.